Today we are looking at a deleted scene that has caught the attention of so many people, and it's easy to see why. The moment involves Martell, Maurice, and their thoughts about Melody. Even though this scene never aired on the show, what was said in it has created a lot of discussion because it reveals how they see Melody's life now, how they judge her happiness, and how they continue to bring her up even though she has clearly moved on. The scene may be deleted, but the message in it is loud and clear. There is a lot going on behind the words, and it shows the way some people try to control a story, even when that story is no longer theirs to tell. The deleted scene starts with Martell and Maurice sitting together and talking about Melody. The conversation is focused on one thing: whether Melody is truly happy after leaving Martell. Martell and Maurice go back and forth about her life, her emotions, and her actions, as if they have full access to what she feels inside. According to them, Melody only looks happy when she is with her kids or when she is on vacation. Outside of that, they claim she is not really experiencing happiness. They act like her smile on TikTok, her business promotions, and her fun moments online are not real. They treat her happiness as if it's an act, something for the camera. This is the part that caught a lot of people off guard, because they speak with such confidence about her life even though they are no longer a part of it. As the scene continues, it becomes clear that both Martell and Maurice are trying to shape a narrative. They want people to believe that Melody is pretending to be happy, that her joy is fake, and that her life without Martell is empty. This is especially interesting because viewers have watched Melody grow, heal, and build herself up. We have seen her spending time with her children, pushing her businesses, showing her fans moments of joy, and creating a life that is peaceful. So when Martell and Maurice act like her happiness is not real, it raises questions about why they are so invested in tearing it down. Maurice then tries to analyze Melody's emotions as if he knows more about her than she knows herself. He talks about when she looks happy and when she supposedly does not. He comments on her behavior in a way that feels judgmental and unnecessary. What makes this worse is that viewers have seen Melody embrace her independence, show her personality on TikTok, and live in ways that make her feel free. What we see as happiness, they claim is an act. They want to create their own meaning behind every action she takes. It almost feels like they want to take control of her story again, something that no longer belongs to them. Martell's comments in the deleted scene add even more drama. He talks about Melody interacting with other men. He questions her growth, and he gets bothered by the idea of her moving forward with her life. This part is especially strong because Martell had his own relationships outside the marriage, yet he appears upset that Melody might be moving on, rebuilding her life, or finding joy. It shows a deep double standard, one that viewers have pointed out many times. Martell had no issue doing whatever he wanted, but when Melody chooses her freedom, suddenly it becomes a problem for him. At one point in the scene, Martell mentions something he calls happy male, as if he is measuring what real happiness should look like for Melody. He compares her vacations, her TikTok videos, and the time she spends with her kids to some imaginary scale he created. He dismisses her joy as if he has the authority to decide what counts and what does not. This attitude is what shocked many people because it shows how Martell still believes he has control over Melody's story, even though she has not been with him for a long time. He sees her happiness as something he has the right to judge. Then there's the part where Martell starts questioning Melody's friendships. He asks if she is friends with Maurice or other people in their circle, as if he still has a right to watch who she speaks to and who she is close to. It feels unnecessary and controlling. Melody is not with him anymore. She has every right to choose who she talks to, and who she spends time with. This part of the scene reveals something important about Martell. Even after the separation, he still feels the need to monitor her life. He still feels entitled to her choices. Throughout the scene, Martell and Maurice bring up Melody's past, including old interactions and moments from years ago. They talk about situations that no longer matter, trying to tie her present-day happiness to events from the past. It's almost like they refuse to accept that she has changed and grown. Melody is not the same person she was in her marriage. She has become stronger, wiser, and more focused on herself and her kids. But Martell and Maurice want to keep her locked in the old narrative because it benefits them to make her seem unhappy, confused, or stuck. One of the biggest moments in the deleted scene surrounds the idea that Martell gave Melody 5 years to come back to him. According to what was said, Martell expected Melody to remain single during those years, as if he wanted her to wait for him while he lived his life freely. This moment exposes an unrealistic and selfish mindset. It shows how Martell wanted to keep the door open for himself while closing every door for Melody. The idea that she would remain single and quietly wait for him shows exactly why Melody had to walk away and choose her peace. Melody choosing independence was not just a decision, it was a necessary step. And the scene makes that clear. Martell's insecurities become more visible as the conversation goes on. He talks about who Melody speaks to, who she is seen with, and how she chooses to enjoy her life. He seems bothered by the idea that she can be happy without him. He seems bothered that she can rebuild herself without his presence. And that discomfort shows why the separation was needed. Maurice also contributes to the conversation by claiming he has not seen Melody experience real happiness in a long time. But again, happiness is not something that can be judged from the outside. It is personal. It belongs to the person living it. Maurice tries to speak with authority, but viewers know that Melody has built something better for herself. She has chosen a path of independence. She has made choices that protect her mental peace. She has focused on her children, her career, her health, and her spirit. The more Martell and Maurice try to define Melody's happiness, the more they reveal about themselves. They show their frustration, their need to control the narrative, and their need to make Melody look like she cannot survive without Martell. But the truth is clear. Melody is surviving. She is growing. She is creating a life that works for her. She is showing other women that it is possible to rise from a painful situation and still find joy. This deleted scene also highlights how reality TV can expose real attitudes that people try to hide. When Martell and Maurice talk about Melody with so much confidence, they reveal their insecurities. They show how they want to shape the public's view of her. They want to reduce her independence to a performance. They want to question her every step. But they cannot take away the truth that she is thriving. They cannot erase her growth. They cannot stop her from moving forward. As the scene goes on, Martell continues to show that he is stuck in the past. He talks about Melody interacting with new people, making new connections, and living her life. The way he speaks shows how uncomfortable he is with her progress. He seems more focused on what she is doing than on fixing anything in his own life. This is something viewers have seen many times. Martell moves on in actions, but his mind stays locked in the past with Melody. He cannot let go of the idea that she no longer needs him. What the deleted scene really exposes is the emotional distance between Martell's view of Melody and the reality of Melody's life. Martell wants to believe she is miserable. He wants to believe her life is empty without him. He wants to believe her happiness is fake. Because if he admits she is happy without him, he has to accept that his role in her life is over. And that truth is something he does not want to face. The scene also shows how Maurice tries to support Martell's version of events. Instead of challenging the narrative, he adds to it. He tries to explain Melody's moods, even though he cannot truly know how she feels. He tries to back up Martell's comments, even though viewers can clearly see that Melody is building a new life. This support system between Martell and Maurice shows how easy it is for people to talk about someone else's happiness while ignoring their own issues. There is also a deeper message in the scene. It shows how some people struggle to accept a woman's independence after a breakup. When Melody was in the marriage, her life revolved around managing her home, her children, and her career, while also dealing with the stress that came with the relationship. Now that she is free, she is allowed to focus on herself. She is allowed to smile. She is allowed to dance. She is allowed to live. But for Martell and Maurice, this independence is something they want to question instead of celebrate. As we break down the scene further, it becomes clear that Martell and Maurice want to push the idea that Melody is broken. But every part of Melody's public life shows that she is healing. She is not perfect. She still has challenges. She still deals with stress. She still has moments that are tough. But she is not sitting in misery like they claim. She is building, step by step. Every TikTok, every vacation, every moment with her kids shows that she is finding joy in the life she is creating. The deleted scene also highlights the difference between public truth and private judgment. Publicly, people can see Melody glowing. Privately, Martell and Maurice claim she is not truly happy. They judge her based on their own ideas, not on her actions. They speak from a place of projection. They speak from a place of control. And they speak from a place of discomfort because Melody's growth challenges the role they want to play in her life story. The scene becomes even more telling when Martell questions why Melody is moving on with her life. It exposes how deeply he struggles with letting go. Even though he had his own relationships and created his own problems, he still wants a form of possession over Melody. He wants to believe she is still tied to him emotionally. That belief gives him a sense of power. So when she creates her own happiness, it shakes him. It removes the control he once had. Martell's interest in Melody's friendships and interactions shows how he still feels connected to her life, even though the relationship is over. This is not normal behavior after a separation. Healthy separation means giving each other space. It means letting the other person live freely. But Martell's questions show that he has not let go of that need to watch her, judge her, or control her story. As the scene continues, Maurice keeps feeding the idea that Melody's joy is not real. He says things like he has not seen her experience true happiness. But happiness is not something that needs to be performed for approval. Happiness shows up in quiet moments. Happiness shows up in freedom. Happiness shows up in peace. And Melody has been showing all of that. She has been focusing on her spiritual life, her emotional healing, her kids, and her business moves. The deleted scene also reveals how much Martell and Maurice underestimate Melody. They act like she cannot move on without them noticing. They act like every step she takes needs to be judged. They act like she cannot build her own life. But Melody has shown through her actions that she can survive, rebuild, and grow, even with people doubting her at every turn. The scene also reminds viewers of the emotional toll that comes from being under constant judgment. Melody walked away from a relationship where she did not feel seen or respected. And even now, when she is no longer with Martell, she still has to deal with people trying to dismiss her happiness. but she keeps walking forward. She keeps showing strength. She keeps proving that her life is bigger than what they say. As we move deeper into the deleted scene, more layers of Martell's behavior appear. He talks about things from the past as if they still matter today. He brings up old interactions and tries to use them as proof that Melody is unhappy now. This shows that he is stuck. He has not moved forward emotionally. He is still connected to the old story, the old relationship, and the old version of Melody that he could control. But Melody is not that woman anymore. She has grown beyond that stage. She has learned lessons from her pain. She has evolved into someone stronger. And the more Martell tries to drag her back into the past, the more obvious it becomes that she is already living in her future. The 5-year comment stands out as one of the most telling moments. The idea that Melody should remain single while Martell does whatever he wants shows a level of entitlement that explains the problem in the relationship. It shows why Melody needed to break away. It shows why she needed to protect her peace. It shows why independence was the only way forward. The truth is simple. Melody's happiness is not something that Martell or Maurice can define. They can talk about it, judge it, question it, or dismiss it, but they cannot control it. Her happiness belongs to her. And the deleted scene unintentionally reveals how threatened some people feel when a woman chooses herself. The scene also reminds viewers that growth does not need validation from people who once held you back. Melody's growth is clear. Her confidence is clear. Her progress is clear. She does not need Martell or Maurice to approve of her journey. She is doing what is right for her, not what looks right to others. By the end of the deleted scene, Martell and Maurice have said a lot. They have judged Melody's happiness. They have judged her choices. They have judged her friendships. They have judged her joy. But what stands out is what they did not say. They did not acknowledge their own roles in the problems. They did not speak about accountability. They did not talk about growth on their end. They focused only on Melody, as if she is the only one who needs to be analyzed. This is what makes the scene powerful, even though it was deleted. It gives viewers a look at how Martell and Maurice think. It shows how they view Melody. It shows how they refuse to let go of the past. And it shows why Melody continues to choose herself over the noise. The scene may be deleted, but its impact is clear. It reveals a pattern of judgment, a pattern of control, a pattern of entitlement. But what it also reveals is the strength of Melody's journey. She has built herself outside of that pattern. She has grown beyond the things they claim. She has shown independence in every step she takes. And that is why people continue to support her. Because they see her strength. They see her resilience. They see her joy. They see her peace. They see her moving forward, even when she is dragged back in conversations like this one. She continues to rise, and that is something no deleted scene